All right, hello and welcome to episode. I don't know. We're not going to do an episode number for this. Hi guys, we missed you. This is an NCR special episode. I'm your host Ben Dupay.
I'm Travis Roseberry.
I'm Ariel Dupay.
And this is Noah O'Toole.
And we are your DC comic book experts. Well, not so much anymore though. Really, it's been a while. So for our listeners out there, I know a couple of you have messaged me and. I'm sorry. We've kind of been offline. I started working an internship, and I've been working like 60-hour weeks on top of school. And I know Noah's been doing something similar. Same with Brad. Travis and Ariel are just lazy. No.
Yeah, driving 1,000 miles in a week. Yeah, that's lazy.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so hopefully though we are gonna do a couple of these special episodes and come back to our normally scheduled programming in February. I think so is what we're thinking.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough to pick up on comics because we haven't really been reading very much. I know I haven't read anything since Watchmen. Have you guys read very much?
I've been trying to keep up with Batman Metal and what's the side shoot for all the spinoffs? It's Bats Out of Hell, I think is what they title that.
Yeah.
And then of course I finished up Oz, the Oz Effect. But
yeah, how was that by the way? Okay,
yeah,
so let's get this out of the way first because I have some questions for you on that. So first off, we are a spoiler podcast, so the little that we know about DC Comics, we are going to be spoiling. So if you don't want to have things spoiled for you, just probably read the books first. We're just going to be talking very general overviews. Then this episode, we're going to be reviewing Doomsday Clock #1, so full spoilers on that, and we're going to talk about the Justice League movie because Travis hasn't seen it yet, but he's okay with us spoiling it for him.
Exactly.
So,
I'm good.
Yeah. So we do welcome mail. If you want to mail into us and tell us how much you miss us, we can be reached at nerdchurchradio@gmail.com. You can also give us an iTunes review. We love that. And that's all I got. So Oz Effect. What just major broad point takeaways? What happened?
So we all find out that it actually is Jor-El as Mr. Oz. We find out that it's not a imposter or anything like that. It's actually his father. He was pulled out of the time stream just as Krypton exploded, and he gets dropped back on Earth, and he's basically trying to show Kal-El that these people don't deserve him. It ends up with Kal-El basically saving his dad, but at the end we see that the kryptonite that destroyed his eye, that's why he only has one eye, actually was kind of like killing him or hurting him. It's still embedded in there. And that staff that he had was kind of keeping that effect at bay. And Superman cracks it in half, and when he does that, it breaks the spell or whatever you want to call it over Jor-El, and he kind of realizes, oh my gosh, I've had this, this bad outlook on the people of Earth.
Right.
Maybe I shouldn't have put all these things in motion. It was very, very sidetracked, very awkward, but then he gets pulled out again. He gets pulled out away from Kal-El and Earth, and it's somebody, I have to assume it is Dr. Manhattan, that pulls him away. Yeah. But it's just really weird. And then the After Effects one that just came out this last week explores Kal-El trying to figure out who this man really was, and he confirms again through his robot assistant Kal-X that it was Jor-El, and then he went to Mogo, the living planet, Green Lantern, home of the Green Lanterns, and he finds out that through watching history from the Green Lantern that was his sector or Krypton sector guardian or whatever, that something happened. He watches a recording that is on file in the Great Hall, and we find out that something has affected the recording, and all the Green Lanterns standing in the hall are like, wait, that's not right. Why is this file corrupted? And we end the comic with Superman going, something has affected the timeline. And it's like, it's
again, great.
Yeah, exactly. So again, that's my exact feelings. It's like, great, again, it's another something has affected. Yeah. So Is it Dr. Manhattan?
Yeah.
Is it another random Mixelpix?
Right.
No, I think
So,
I think, and we'll talk about this more in the Doomsday Clock review. But I think Dr. Manhattan has done all this. I think he's the god of the DC universe. I think he went off and created the DC universe when Watchmen ended.
You think so?
That's my thought. But
Okay.
but we'll see. So what have you been reading, Noah?
I've been reading. I've really been keeping up on kind of, I guess, my big three. Wonder Woman, of course, which has definitely been interesting because this is the brother story.
Okay.
So I have just such mixed thoughts about it because, unfortunately, it's one of the better Wonder Woman stories that have been written recently since, we only had one since Rucka, but even before him,
So who's writing Wonder Woman now?
Oh, you would call me out on that. I'm not sure. He wrote. He's written Batman before and stuff. So I want to say Robinson, but I could be wrong on that. But it just is unfortunate that in order to make her relevant, they have to keep adding patriarchal things to her story. I mean, Superman gets his dad. Why couldn't Wonder Woman have a sister? I mean, that would have been a great time to I don't know, do that,
Right.
and then it turns out Jason was kind of cool, and I kind of got thinking to myself, ooh, maybe he can be like a sidekick and Wonder Woman and Jason, and he kind of looks like a boy Wonder Woman, and I was like, cosplay opportunities are coming to mind. This could be a lot of fun. It turns out, of course, he's a bad guy. He's working with Grail, and so it's just all kind of like wah wah, a little bit. But yet it's an interesting story. At the same time, there are issues where she was only in a couple pages of her own book, and it's like, I just don't like that in order to make it interesting to people, they have to make her not the center of her own story. But, that's
and that
is what it is, I guess. And
that
the art's great, though. I've been loving the art in it.
The whole patriarchal thing, I mean, that just seems like that's a gimmick for comics. It's just something they have to do, I guess. But it is James Robinson.
Okay, cool. Yep. And then, of course, I've been keeping up on Birds of Prey. That's been a lot of fun. There's a virus going through Gotham that all the men are affected. So now it's just all the Gotham girls, and Wonder Woman has stepped in now and joined. So
awesome.
Just this huge roster of all the cool DC girls on Birds of Prey right now. So that's a lot of fun. And Red Hood and the Outlaws.
Nice.
Of course,
and
still fun. That's still going good. Yeah,
Okay,
Brainiac,
cool.
or Brainiac. Bizarro is still a Brainiac, not the Brainiac, but
Awesome.
he's still smart and
That's cool. Yeah, I have so many.
Are they flirting? Sorry to interrupt you. Are they kind of flirting with the fact that he's going to lose that ability?
Oh,
soon?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
So that's going to be a
Very quickly,
continuous-
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Any huge overarching DC Rebirth tie-ins or anything from the books you've been reading?
Nope, not really. I mean, the only thing I could possibly see, obviously, is the Wonder Woman connection, since
Yeah.
Grail's got Darkseid as a baby, and they're trying to feed him gods to power him up, and the more gods he consumes, the faster and bigger he grows. So.
Is it like a Flintstones vitamins commercial?
a little bit?
The more gods you absorb.
It's like, I want gods. She's like, okay, Darkseid, we'll get you Hercules.
10 million strong and growing. So what do you think about this? I saw this on Twitter, this new comic that's coming out called Damage. Evidently, Wonder Woman...
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, I don't know much about it, so I shouldn't be talking about it. But Tony Daniel, maybe Daniel Mikey, I don't know. But I think he's a villain or something, kind of like... sorry, go ahead.
So Ethan, quote, Elvis Avery just wanted to serve his country. Instead, he's been changed into a monster. Tasked as the government's own living, breathing, ticking time bomb, Ethan retains no control when the monster takes over. Cheaper than a nuclear warhead and twice as effective, Ethan fights to rein in damage as he unleashes... Wait, is this... This isn't... Oh, no.
It could be. I don't know. Damage.
No, that's Damage number 1.
Yeah. This is Damage number 3.
Oh, so he's going to fight Wonder Woman here eventually.
Evidently.
Obviously, they're going to cross. Right.
Yeah.
Well, of course, in any new DC book, you got to eventually cross him with a couple of the big guns at
But
some
I
point,
mean,
so.
man, that art is awesome for
Yeah,
Wonder
that's
Woman.
great.
Normally,
Yeah.
she's all over the map for me. Like, she never looks the same. But I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there were some issues in the Justice League movie with her appearance and stuff, which
Oh.
we'll get into.
Okay.
Or not appearance. It's just like I don't know. It's like the robe. Like when did that come on and why? Why did we,
I loved the robe, but I do have other issues with the costuming in that,
Yeah.
but I'm sure we'll get to it. So.
But it showed up for like 5 minutes and it was like, that looks awesome. And
Right.
then it was gone. It's like, is this, me and Ariel joked, like, is this your bathrobe that like when you're just hanging around the house?
Right,
like,
yeah. It's her
Somebody's
lounging
doing
toga.
Yeah, lounging toga. I like that.
Somebody was doing a load of laundry. Throw it in. Let's go.
Get it done. Batman threw his cowl in too. That happened around the same time. All right, so why don't we jump in, because we gotta watch this. I keep calling it Watchmen. Doomsday Clock #1 to cover. So why don't we jump?
It's
on
basically
into that?
Watchmen.
Yeah, it is. It very
Let's
much
be
is.
honest with ourselves here.
All right, let's do it.
Watchmen Part 2.
All right, so Doomsday Clock #1. This is the comic that we've all been waiting for. We all had to put our schedules on hold to cover this one. I was excited for it. Did it deliver? Did it just kind of fall flat? I don't know. What do we think? Just overall, liked it, didn't like it?
Middle of the road for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, to quote Justice League, I didn't not like it.
I know Ariel your opinion's probably pretty complex on the issue.
Yeah, it's been like a roller coaster reading it.
Oh, hold on, Ariel. You're not.
I say I don't
coming
hear
through
you.
for some
Yeah.
reason.
I was responding to her, but never actually.
Sorry, guys. So Ariel's mic wasn't working, but you probably likely heard her. It was just picked up by our mic. So, anyway, Ariel, your thoughts on Doomsday Clock are probably pretty complex.
Yeah,
right?
it was a roller coaster for me reading it. Like, I got really excited just because there was things that was nostalgia, and I was like, oh, I recognize that. But then the actual story, like, it kind of made me feel like let down, I guess. Because Watchmen's so epic, and they're taking things out of it and redoing it. Like, I guess, can we talk about it?
Yeah. Why don't we go through?
Can we go like page by page?
Yeah,
Yeah,
page by
Yeah,
page.
sweet.
So, or section by section.
Yeah, there
you go.
So we open up this story with, and the basis for this story is they're continuing Watchmen from where it left off. If you need a reminder, Watchmen ended where. Explain the ending for me, Ariel.
Adrian, Doctor, oh my gosh,
Ozymandias? Yeah.
He put in this plan in place where, well, we'll do the comic. He's going to have aliens attack the world. That way, because the world was fighting, and he figured that they would combine forces to fight the third party. But Rorschach wrote down everything what was happening in Adrian's plan. So when he used the aliens, I'm using air quotes, to like blow up half the world, I think tens of millions of people died.
It was just New York City that got leveled, and that was, I mean, it was a lot of people.
Yeah, but they were going to have it like they can combine forces to fight instead of fighting each other. And then Rorschach wrote everything down and put the journal in before he died.
Yeah,
So-
he handed off to like a newspaper. Yeah.
Right. So they published his
So,
journal,
yes.
and everybody got to see.
They found
The
out
plan.
it wasn't each other or the aliens, it was Adrian. But the problem is, this is kind of helping this story. The other countries think that the U.S. had an idea of what he was doing, so they're all pissed off because they think they all knew about this plan, and they killed themselves for like their own political gain.
So I have a big issue with the setup of this.
So wait, sorry, I gotta back up. I've never actually read all the way through Watchmen. Excuse me. I've only watched the movie.
Yep.
So I thought it was sorry.
Hey, me too.
But I always thought it was U.S. against Russia, Cold War. That
There was a lot of that.
mentality. But
Yeah.
you're saying in the Watchmen comic, it's actually a third party, which is supposed to be aliens.
Yeah.
No.
So it's a Cold War. It's Cold War
Yeah.
in here, and Adrian's like, the only way we can fix this Cold War if there was a third party that both the teams had to line up to fight.
Okay. Yeah.
So he was pretending like in the movie that he said Dr. Manhattan, but in the book it's aliens attack.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then if I remember from the movie correctly, something happened. Manhattan came back into New York, and then it exploded. But that was because Adrian planted the bomb
Already.
that
Yeah.
Manhattan helped him build in downtown. So it made it look like Russia had attacked, but really it wasn't. And then everybody was in a state
a
of
conspiracy,
confusion.
right.
Yeah. Okay. So it's same basic tone. It's just in Watchmen, the actual comic, it was a third party, which is alien.
Yeah.
Air quote.
Yeah, yeah. So the idea here was like the humans are fighting with each other. They're going at war. They're going to destroy themselves. And Ozymandias' thought is, I'm going to use Dr. Manhattan as an excuse for a giant explosion that's going to basically the enemy of my enemy is my friend sort of thing, where it's like we're going to unite the humans by giving them all one common enemy. And that's where sort of this story picks up. Am I wrong there?
Yes, but actually that was just in the movie where it was Dr. Manhattan is the bad guy.
But in the comic, it's aliens.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but still, same basic concept of we're giving them all one common enemy. So they set off the explosion.
It's a made-up enemy.
Yeah. So they set off an explosion in New York, which kills tons of people to unite everyone. So my problem with this is the setup for the story is that, you know, the whole world finds out that this was all staged or whatever, and they think that America had some idea. Why would America have this happen on their own soil if they had any idea? Like, you would think common sense would prevail there.
See, I disagree, because if you look up any 9/11 conspiracy documentary, you'll see a lot, and I'm not commenting either way on it, but I'm just saying you can see a lot of people think it was an inside job. A lot of people think that Bush did it in order to create a war so that he could
galvanize
more income on it, and casualties for in exchange for money. You know, it's like government conspiracy kind of thing.
It just seems like, I don't know if other countries, but I guess, like, I don't know if other countries would believe that like America literally killed all the citizens of its largest city, you know, just to start a war. Like, it would be like, well, why didn't you do it in Russia then, or something?
Well, there's an old black and white movie. I'll have to double check me on this one, but you might actually like it. It kind of goes this route. It was during the Cold War. Is where it takes place, and I can't remember exactly, but it's all in that. I think it's 5 Minutes to Midnight or something like that.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah,
but I mean,
and it's the president who is in isolation, and then Russia's president in isolation, and they're supposed to talk to each other, but they can't agree on anything, and they can't really open communication to each other because of all of this. And they actually, in order to kind of de-escalate the situation, our president allows a nuclear bomb to go off in the most populated city in the United States, while a nuclear bomb goes off in Russia in its most populated center. So it's kind of like, it happens, we did it to ourselves,
like
we're even, kind of thing. And I can kind of, don't think I'm a conspiracy nut or anything, but I can kind of get that. It's like Noah was saying, it galvanizes citizens around you, the people who aren't really thinking all the way through it. They're just accepting what they hear and see, and then all of a sudden you went from only a small group of people who are behind you to an entire nation.
Yeah. Kind of. So if anybody's watched the current season of American Horror Story, it's been a lot like that. He's the main character is kind of like created fear in order to rally people behind him. So he'll keep them safe, you know. But he was the one that created the fear in the first place with that intention. So,
like Negan?
Exactly, yeah.
So just as a disclaimer to people, everyone listening, we're going to talk about Doomsday Clock. It's a political comic.
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy comic. None of us are giving our political opinions. None of us are conspiracy theorists, but we have to breach this subject to talk about the comic, because that's just the nature in which this comic is written.
Yep.
So
classic Alan Moore there.
Small disclaimer on that. What were you going to say, Travis?
Nothing. I was just going to say, in the first couple of pages, it looks like everybody's writing against Adrian's building. Where is it? Vetted? Did I say the name?
Yeah,
Vite.
Yeah. Okay, Vite Industries, and it's just kind of really interesting. Like, you get a little picture of the building inside of Adrian's main office, and he's got all these toys, these action figures of himself on his desk. He's like, would that not be like the ballrest move ever? Like, you got your own action figures.
Yeah.
They're like that scene in Spacebar, like, I didn't see you playing with your doll, sir.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
So there's actually a lot of like call-outs here in the first couple pages. First of all, the first page is like a carbon copy of the very first page in Watchmen, where Rorschach's journal is actually where he's like saying, these rats were going to look up and ask me to save them, and I'm going to say no. But this time, I think it's Ozzy who's talking, right? In the very first...
Actually, no, it's
Rorschach. I think
it's Rorschach, yeah. Yeah, because it has that tongue of Yeah, it has that tongue
The
of his dialect.
Right, the choppy.
Choppy.
Yeah.
Right.
Very choppy tone.
And then it trades back and forth between Rorschach and then like the news anchor. Yeah.
And then it's cool. In the second page on the very bottom panel, there's a guy with a bullet in his back on the fountain. In the book in Watchmen, when Adrian was like showing off how fast he can go, he had someone shoot him to show that he wasn't part of the conspiracy, and that's like the exact same thing what happened. Like he had the bullet go back and the guy died in the fountain.
Oh wow.
So it's kind of cool to see these call outs.
Yeah.
I'm like not 100% sure on everybody's powers in the Watchmen
yeah,
Society.
same.
But Ozymandias is super smart and super fast.
He's
Yeah.
like
but he's
the-
not invulnerable,
No.
right?
Yeah,
He's
I would
just
say
fast.
he's like okay. I was gonna say he's like the Superman of that universe.
I was kind of thinking that. Is he super strong?
Yeah, he is super strong.
I mean, because is he like more akin to Superman, or like the Flash?
I would
He-
say Superman, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I-
he is not identical to Superman.
Yeah.
He's not
Right.
invulnerable. Can he fly? I don't
No,
know.
I don't
think
so. Oh, he can't fly, okay.
Yeah.
The thing with his strength, I don't think he ever like shows off his strength, so you never know for
In
sure.
the movie he did, but
Well,
Really?
We're not going to talk about the movie. This is the book.
Ooh, she laid it down.
damn, dude,
man, she
Smackdown. Jeez, okay.
Sorry.
This isn't a movie review. This is a comic review.
Ariel, actually, it is a movie. Yeah, the second half. But no, Ariel took a class on Watchmen in college.
Really?
Yeah, like a
I'm
whole
obsessed
college
with it.
course on Watchmen.
The rhetoric of Watchmen. So.
Sounds pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to get college credit.
And
for
I got
Watchmen.
an A. So
Yeah, I would too. Comic college course. All right, so like, yeah, we open up with this monologue or whatever from him. It's basically your standard pessimistic Rorschach talking about how humanity sucks and they're all gonna kill themselves, and you can tell this is after the world has found out about what's happened with the conspiracy and everything. Like all the cards are on the table. Everyone's pissed off. The world's going back to war, and things are just going bad. So. Then we pick up in like a jail where you know everyone's escaping from their cells.
You skipped a huge part right there after they rush the building of Adrian Chase. Or sorry, Adrian Chase. Sorry,
Adrian Veidt.
Veidt. Yeah,
Yeah, they rush. And they find out he's cancer.
Yeah, he's got a cancer spot on his brain.
I was
And then-
wondering about that, but
Yeah.
that makes so much. See, I learned these things when I talked to you guys about the comic because I was like, "What?" I mean, I see it's a skull with cancer, and then I remembered he has cancer later in the comic.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Okay, so they've rushed into Adrian's building, the authorities, and they found an empty office with the X-rays of his skull that clearly have a cancerous tumor. I wonder if that's actually what cancer looks like on an X-ray, but they've dumbed it down for us, whatever.
Yep.
So anyway, we then we pick up in the jail where everyone's like going crazy and escaping from jail, and this one guy is about to break out of his cell, and Rorschach comes up, and the guy sees Rorschach, and Rorschach's like, "You still want out?" And he's like, "No,
No,
man,
yeah,
I'm
Nope, I'm good.
good right
That's
here."
funny.
So that was pretty awesome. And that's a callback to the part in the comics where Rorschach's in jail, and he's like, "You think that I'm stuck in here with you? You're stuck in here with me." And like, it's just
Badass line.
yeah. He is probably one of my favorite Watchmen characters, I think.
So again, I'm confused, and tell me, because I have not read through the comic. I've only really seen the movie. I thought Rorschach was dead, and I'm reading this, and I'm like, holy cow! But going further back than that, Ariel, does Rorschach really have any powers, or is he just kind of like Batman, super smart?
He's
but
like Batman.
He's like the
twisted
question.
a little. The question.
Yeah,
There we
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Yeah, there.
And if anybody doesn't know, like a lot of these Watchmen are actually
Spin-offs.
spin-offs or inspired by other characters, which you can clearly see. Dr. Manhattan is Captain Atom.
Yeah.
Night Owl Batman, obviously.
Actually, Night Owl was supposed to be Blue Beetle.
Oh,
yeah, I
yeah.
read that.
And like they at the last minute they changed some things up. You can tell because Night Owl's ship looks just like Blue Beetle's
Yeah.
ship.
Yeah, and even these
name?
bad guys that they
Archie?
call Mime and Marionette
Yeah.
are like spin-offs of Punch and Julie.
That's
From-
what it reminded me of.
I
Yeah.
was wondering about them. So yeah, well, let's
Yeah.
get to that.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
So Rorschach breaks out.
But that's the important part too. She's like, prove it isn't you, because Rorschach did die, and now all of a sudden Rorschach's running around. So everybody's like, okay, how can this happen?
Yeah.
And he goes up to break the Marionette out, and she's like, I don't want to be out there with you either. You last time I met you, you
threw me down
the steps or whatever it was, and she's like, prove it's
Motivation.
not you. And he's like, always got to prove it. Always got to prove it. And he takes off his glove, and he's black. He's an African American.
Yeah.
So it's a different,
Yeah.
obviously a different. We have a new Rorschach 2, according to comic book.
So Rorschach's going down this cell. He's looking for somebody. We don't know who it is, and then he finds this marionette. Is that right? The little lady.
Yeah.
And then they have their banter back and forth. She basically says, "Prove it," because the last time I was around you, you threatened to throw me down an elevator shaft. And then he takes his glove out. He's African American, and then he hands over some information about her
kid.
Yes, her son.
Yeah, he gives her a picture, and he's like, "This is payment for the job I'm going to have you do." And you think money's in there, and she pulls out of the envelope. It's a picture of her son. He's like, "You get your son back if you do this job for me." So.
And we don't know what this job is, so he pulls her out of the cell basically, and they walk, and she goes, "I'm not going anywhere without my better half."
husband,
Yep. Who is the mime?
Yep.
Yes. So we kind of go down a prison hall where people are breaking out and everything, and we see this guy who I thought looked super close to Superman.
Yeah, he does.
Right.
Except for the white stripe.
With the white stripe, yeah.
He reminds me of Jason Blood.
There you
With
go.
the-
yeah,
the Etrigan, yeah.
There we go. Yeah, and he just getting the crap kicked out of him, and they're standing up there, and Rorschach doesn't actually have a watch on. He keeps looking at his arm and going, "We got to get out of here!" Because there's a nuclear bomb headed their way, right? Or a bomb, I should say.
I didn't see him looking at his wrist. That's funny.
But yeah, he keeps going, "I ain't got much time left. We got to go." Blah blah blah. And this mime character is actually just playing a prank. He's waiting for everybody to think he's the underdog, and then he just kicks everybody's butt. And
But he does it without
blood.
touching them too.
Really?
Yeah, like if you see the one frame, he's going like he's kind of spreading his arms apart, and like it looks like he's holding a gun at someone's head, and you see a little splash of blood coming out of their head.
Oh.
Like he has like imaginary weapons that he can use and like hurt people with.
I didn't take it that way. I just assumed we were supposed to imply this fight was really going on.
I thought
the
that too.
Needed the
Because there's a
face.
scene with somebody's hand on his head.
Yeah.
I was talking about this.
And I thought
there, he's got his hand on his head.
Oh yeah, okay.
that I thought was more like he just
He
ripped
just
somebody's
slapped
ear
him.
off
Oh,
or
yeah.
something.
I thought he was
and,
like doing his finale.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm
Yeah,
done. Okay.
yeah.
I thought
But-
you
Could be
bitch
it.
slapped him. Like,
Right, yeah.
But then they go before they can leave the prison. This mime guy is like, "I can't go anywhere." He doesn't talk this, and he has to go get his weapons out of the weapons hold, and there's nothing there. But are those weapons actually?
Here's
real?
where his
Like,
imaginary
they're
weapons.
guns? Yeah. Anyways, sorry.
I don't know, yeah.
I think he's just crazy.
I think he's just crazy too, but
Yeah. So then we've got a team of 3, and Rorschach keeps saying, "Okay, everybody, we got to go. We got to get out of this prison because this place is going to be leveled in no time at all." And then I'll let you guys take it from there.
Yeah, so that's kind of the end of this scene or whatever. I mean, like, that's them leaving the prison or the end of the first act of this book or whatever. I don't know. What do you guys think so far, though, on it?
I have really mixed feelings with Rorschach because his death in the Watchmen book was so impactful, and it was like the moment Manhattan just gave up because like he was really close to him, and Rorschach's like, "Just do it, just kill me," and that sounded too much like Joker. And Dr. Manhattan realized that by telling the truth, he's going to destroy the world, so he's like, "I'll just kill you," and it's for the best logically. So
Yeah, I am glad, though, that it's a different Rorschach because, I mean, I'm just glad they didn't bring back Rorschach because
Right.
that would have been
Yeah.
kind of a diss.
Yeah.
This whole thing, though, feels kind of fishy to me. I don't know, man. I just don't know if Alan Moore meant for this story to be continued, and he didn't, I don't think. And
he's not happy. I've been reading some
Really?
stuff like
Oh, really?
he's pretty unhappy with DC.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay. Because last I read, he was just like, I don't care. Like, whatever. I gave up on that whole thing long ago. So, has he lately said some stuff about it?
I don't know like, specifically about like the comic, but the way DC handled his business, like I think they bought it and said if we don't use it in a year, you can have it back. But it blew up, so he got screwed out. You know how DC works?
Yeah.
They like screw out the writers. So
Well,
he's-
they're better now-ish. They're not great still, but they used to be really bad to artists and writers. But anyway, my point is that it's just, I don't know, different authors taking these characters, and it feels kind of strange to be reading a different voice coming out of these
Yeah,
characters.
and there's something, I don't know if it's just me, but Rorschach sounds different. Like, he's still broken language, but he's almost too coherent for me to, like, so I knew right away something was up.
But that could be good, because that's also helps establish in your mind that he's a different Rorschach.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, very true.
So we're about like 20 some odd pages into the comic at this point.
Yeah.
I found myself going, okay, this is interesting. It's flowing from an outsider's view. Like I said, I didn't actually read the comic, so I just seen the movie. It's like it's flowing in line with what I understand. I'm entertained. I'm invested. I kind of like this. But by page 20, I thought I'd see maybe like, in my mind, I'm envisioning there's the Watchmen Earth, and then there's this DC comic
The DC
Earth.
universe.
Right.
And somehow they're able to skip between Earths. You know, be it Vibe character comes out, from the CW and allows them to jump through portals, or something. They got their hands on a DeLorean and somehow retrofitted it. I don't know, but I'm like, I assume by page 20 I might see DC Earth.
Yeah. I kind of thought so too, and it's going to be interesting to see how they play it through. But it turns out, so like the Mime and Marionette kind of get led by Rorschach to Ozymandias' lair. Ozymandias has
Night Owl.
Night Owl's lair.
Lair.
Well, okay, it used to be Night Owl's lair.
Well,
it's Ozzy's lair.
That
now.
he's in now.
No.
True.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so it used to be Night Owl's lair, but Ozzy is kind of taking it over. He sent Rorschach out to get Mime and Marionette, and he's hired them to do a job. In this scene, we don't really see a whole lot other than the fact that Ozzy has cancer. We find out that Silk Spectre and Night Owl have disappeared. Dr. Manhattan, left to create some life of his own. And now Adrian Veidt just wants to pay them to do something. So my personal theory on this whole Dr. Manhattan thing is still the same. I think he created the DC universe. I think he went off and created some life of his own, and that's where we kind of pick up the DCU. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
They have their back and forth between Adrian and the Mime and the Marionette, and they talk about all this random stuff. It's kind of, I don't want to say it's complicated to follow, but it was interesting. But at the very end, there's just one little panel where Adrian explains how right before Manhattan left, he said, I'm leaving, and he has a flashback panel. It says, I'm leaving this galaxy for a less complicated one, and that's Manhattan speaking.
Yeah.
So I don't think that, I think you're onto something.
Yeah, maybe he didn't create.
But I don't think it's create.
Yeah.
I think it might have been like
Facilitate.
They're not as evolved, so I'll go there. It's not as hard.
Right.
Maybe I can.
I mean, the
make things
DCU
nicer.
is a
I
lot
don't know.
less complicated than Watchmen. Like that, just looking at it from a reader's perspective. So I don't know. Yeah.
But then we move forward to a panel of basically Superman or Clark having a nightmare.
Yeah.
Which
And
doesn't happen.
yeah, it never happens in his life, but it's he recalls his time in high school, and which I don't understand why that was such a thing, but I don't know. Maybe they're foreshadowing this point is where the timeline gets corrupted, but that can't be true because in Superman Oz Effect Aftermath, Krypton explodes and something's wrong with it there. So I don't know. They just
Yeah, the
finally
nightmare of
bring
his
DC and sorry, go ahead.
this might be a question for you actually, because he has a nightmare about his parents dying in a car crash.
Yeah.
Well, he goes to prom or
Prom, yeah.
Okay, did that really happen?
No.
Okay, I didn't think
Yeah,
so.
how did
And that's
his
why the
parent-
nightmare
Doesn't make any
happens.
sense, right?
We never know. Okay, so you're going to probably get a lot of hate mail here, but I'm going to be honest. If you can go back in the last 10 years, no, back up even further, 15, read every comic you can get your hand on for Superman, his parents die in different ways. So Jonathan always seems to have an accident and have a heart attack and die.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most recent reboots, shoot, I don't remember exactly how he died, but I think it was a heart attack.
But Martha
Before
was
that,
always still alive, though.
Martha is always alive.
Almost always, at least. But.
I think she died in the New 52, but I can't remember. Don't quote me on that one.
We also don't see them die here.
Right. We just see it's implied.
It's implied.
Yeah, it's a bad car crash, and they're in an old
car.
truck.
He's like, I heard them. I heard the, all the
their screams.
Their screams. Yeah.
But it's. And it ends with Superman hovering above the bed, and Lois is like, calm down, it's going to be fine. And he's like, I don't have nightmares. I don't have that ability or whatever. You know? It doesn't affect me like that. But everything in these panels is cast in a blue light. And they have before when we were first introduced to Superman sleeping there, on his glasses, there's a little bit of a bluish-white sheen sparkling off the edge of it. You know, I thought, I'm going to go out there, I thought maybe Manhattan came into the DC universe and somehow merged with Superman, and maybe they are one together.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anything could be.
But
pretty far-fetched.
Yeah, really. Out of everything we discussed, that's your sticking point. No, I thought that for a few seconds, but I'm also thinking maybe you have a point. He's acting as an actual god, a creator of everything in this universe.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Maybe not even a creator. Maybe just like he's a great influencer. Yeah. I mean, the term, I guess, God and creator are very different in the DCU. Like you can be
right.
You can
now we went from political to religious. Do your statement. No, I'm sorry.
So we can, we have like the new gods and the old gods and
Wonder Woman's gods. I mean, there's a ton of gods.
I mean, Wonder Woman is technically part god.
Demigod, right? Yeah.
So I mean, he could be technically a god in that world. God is just,
but not like as in the almighty religious creator that everybody thinks of in like Christianity or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
In the DCU, a god is just a term that a less powerful person has for someone that's more powerful, like beyond their comprehension or whatever. So I don't know. I think Dr. Manhattan certainly could be that level of powerful, and he probably is a god. As far as being the creator, I don't know about all that. I think it's a far-fetched to say that. But yeah, we and then we end off with classic Watchmen style, a bunch of news clippings, which is just basically setting the story up for us. I mean, just talking about, how the world's at war, the great lie, the whole, like, everything we talked about before with the journal being found and everyone realizing that this alien invasion was a lie, and that's it. That's all we set up. So overall, I thought that this story was kind of, I don't know, it was kind of lukewarm for something that's been so heavily anticipated. I personally expected to see some Dr. Manhattan in this story.
Yeah.
We've all been waiting for it. We've only seen his hand at this point. I just feel like you should have kicked this off with kind of a bang. And at least just a final splash page of Dr. Manhattan or something to excite people, because it's a cool book. It's intriguing to me, but it's not the book I expected it to be. I don't know.
You kind of need that handoff, like in what movie was it? Was it Avengers or whatever the Marvel movie was, where they actually showed Thanos.
Oh, right.
He goes over and he grabs the jeweled gauntlet one. Yeah. It's like you need just that little bit of an action full shot. Yeah, exactly. Maybe Manhattan hovering there in the bedroom, like holding Clark's glasses or something. I don't know. Something like, whoa, seriously, we got both of them in the same room,
And it's looking like in the next issue we're not probably going to get it. It looks like they're going to cover like Lex Luthor and Ozymandias in the next issue.
I'm actually really excited for that. Like, I saw the cover page for that, or the cover art for that.
Yeah.
I like those two characters.
Together.
Manipulative like crazy, super smart. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Yeah. So, Noah, what were your final thoughts on the issue?
It was just kind of mediocre. I mean, like I'm curious to see where it's going to go, because they have, made the story intriguing enough for me with the mime and marionette part. I don't know why I like them. I just do.
Yeah, I do too.
And so I like that. But I'm with you guys. I was waiting for more of the DC integration, because I'm, the DC fan. I like Watchmen, but they weren't part of the DC universe until just recently, right. Where there was actually a crossover. So, I was just hoping to to see more DC in it, but you know, it wasn't bad, and I definitely think the panel work was a great way. You know, it was just all square panels for the most part. I mean, they had a few that were an extra longer one, but they were all almost 9 panel pages.
They were square rectangles.
Square, right? And I thought that was cool. Made the art like it just followed it very, you know, panel by panel by panel by panel. You know, you didn't have to wonder where the direction or action was going. But
yeah, and that was done in true Watchmen style.
Exactly.
That artist always drew on a 9 panel grid.
Right.
mean, so that I'm happy to see them following that art style. I think the art is fantastic.
For sure.
I really think the book is fantastic. If I had read it out of context, like if I had read this book just randomly, like if you told me about it a month before it came out and then I read it, I probably would be super hyped on it. But leading up to a year on this thing and then giving me this, it's like, man, like you hyped this up a lot for like a whole year. Like I feel like there should be more payoff if you're hyping something for. So I think this is just a situation. What was that video game where the hype kind of killed it with all the world?
Oh, No Man's Land or No Man's Sky.
I feel like they pulled a No Man's Sky on this
I can
one.
see that.
So, Ariel, do you have any final thoughts on this?
See, I'm kind of the opposite of you, Noah. Like, as much as I love the DC, these characters mean a lot to me.
Right.
And I just want them to be done well. I have so many questions. Like, why is Ozymandias so put together? He's a very egotistical man, and his plan just failed. You would think he'd be a little chaotic right now. And then, why does he have access to his funds still? Because he offered to pay them, like...
$200 million or something.
Like, if he's the most wanted man in the world, how does he have access to his funds? Like, I don't know.
It's a little too much to keep in a sofa cushion.
Yeah. You can see that Jeff has very much respect for these characters, but he doesn't know them the way, like, Alan Moore knows them. And I think if they would have collaborated more, it would have been amazing, but it's, like, appreciation work and not, like, authentic.
It's like fan fiction.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, right.
It's like watching a fan Star Wars film or something. Like it's like that George Lucas didn't make this, or I mean it's kind of like The Force Awakens. I mean George Lucas didn't make this. Someone who has a huge love for Star Wars made this, and that's okay. It's a great movie. But with Watchmen, it's like you're putting their name on it. It's like it's different, I guess.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We're just kind of seeing. And that's the age we live in, with Star Wars, the torch is being passed, with Watchmen, the torch is being passed, and a lot of times it's to the dismay of the original creators. A lot of times they don't like that happening, but it's like they want to do it, and they're going to buy their way into it happening or whatever, and, you just hope for the best. So I'm trying to go into it optimistically and be like, this is going to be fun.
That's why we're married, because you're the optimist and I'm the pessimist.
Yeah.
I will point out, I don't know, I remember Jeff saying something about, like, talking about our political climate right now, and it was just kind of funny, because all these news reports are going on, and then he's like, by the way, the president got a hole-in-one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, man.
That's on the nose,
Ouch.
yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. Travis, final thoughts on this before you rate it?
I am right in line with Noah. I like it, and then I'm also in line with you, Ben. You had so much hype behind it, and then you give me this. It was kind of a letdown.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say letdown, but it was kind of a little disappointing, I guess. But I kind of also understand it because they're stretching this out over 12 issues. So
over a year. We
Yeah.
got another year of
Yeah,
this.
yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. So we'll see what happens. We do have a rating system here where we rate our comics. Let me play that rating system before we rate it.
If a comic book is bad, we rate it as blasphemy. If the book is good, we give our blessing. If the book is not bad, not good, but just kind of meh, we rate it as stuck in purgatory. If the book is great, we rate it as holy. And if a comic book exceeds all standards of awesomeness, we rate that book as salvation.
All right, I'm going to go holy on it because I still think it was a good... I'm sorry, I'm going to go blessing. It's been a while. I'm going to go blessing on it because I think it was a good book. I don't think it's great yet. I hope it gets great, but for me, it's still just a blessing. What do you think, Noah?
Yep, for me, I'm very square on a blessing. It was good. It was good. Yeah.
Yep.
Was it?
Ariel?
I put it in purgatory.
Okay.
I can understand that.
I understand that, too. Yeah.
I'm going to go with blessing. It was a
It was fine.
decent book. Yeah.
Right. We're all like,
It was like popcorn. It was Yeah, it
was fun.
satiated me for a while, you know.
Speaking of things that are just
Ariel got the unpopped kernel.
Yeah, she did.
Speaking of things that are just fun and not great, why don't we talk a little bit about the Justice League movie? All right, so Justice League movie, yet another thing that we've waited over a year for. Travis has been waiting his whole life for this.
I feel like I've waited my whole life for a
Yeah.
Justice League movie too. Yeah,
And he still hasn't seen it. Travis hasn't.
A lot of free time isn't happening right now.
See, we don't even have time to go to the movies. Or Travis doesn't. I've been twice, but
yeah.
so is Noah.
Same. Yeah.
You could have told me. Me and Ben could have acted it out for you.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Ariel babysits Travis's kids sometimes. So.
Yep.
So yeah, let's just. I made some notes, so we can just talk about the movie. The first thing I wrote was shitty mustache intro. And that was the very first scene of the movie. You see some cell phone footage of Superman, and there was the whole thing of like they had to do reshoots, but he was doing
The movie where he had to have
Impossible,
Mm-hmm.
and he had to have a mustache for Mission Impossible. And the makers of Mission Impossible told Warner Brothers, like, no, he needs this mustache. You can't let him shave it. So Warner Brothers, which you got to think a lawyer over there just hates Warner Brothers for some reason. But so Warner Brothers then had to put hundreds of thousands of dollars into digitally removing his mustache, which looks
Or the reshoots. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, money wise, what scales out there? A fake mustache that they
Yeah.
could have glued on him, or digitally remastering
Yeah.
the footage?
Right.
Oh, sorry.
No, I actually saw like an email that was like showing like, no, can he shave his mustache? And a reply of like, lawyer in parentheses, lawyers laughing in background. No, he has to keep the mustache. They're just trying to piss off Warner Brothers because it's just going to cost them crazy amounts of money. And like the fake facial hair really has gotten very good now. I mean,
can't
like
tell.
Right,
Rick
yeah.
Grimes on Walking Dead, he has a fake beard. That's not a real beard. So that's
Right.
how realistic it looks.
It's like lace front wigs that they can make for your face now. And
Yeah.
yeah.
It's really. But anyway,
But speaking of that opening scene, though, it did open with these kids like doing cell phone recording of Superman after he, saved somebody or something,
for their podcast.
for their podcast,
Yeah.
exactly. But what I think is even more interesting, and you can go by really quick, and it went by so quick, I don't know if this is what he said, but when one of the kids asks something, I swear the one kid says, "Shut up, Billy." And do you think it's Billy Bastion?
Oh.
And that's what
Gotcha.
partially inspires him maybe to end up, turning into Shazam.
Oh,
Wow,
Because we got a Shazam movie coming up.
we do.
Yeah.
That's one of the
2019.
few movies we have coming up for DC.
Yep, Zachary Levi, which
Yeah.
I don't dislike him as an actor, but
really?
boy,
Yeah.
what an odd choice to play like
He's
this.
so little.
He's so little, right?
Well, but like that's the kid doesn't look buff. Right?
No, but Zachary
no.
Levi's playing Shazam.
Yeah.
Oh, he's playing.
And an actual kid is playing
Yeah.
Billy
Bill
Bastion.
Yeah.
They're not going to have a grown man play the kid.
I didn't know who Zachary Levi was.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
He's the guy
That
from-
makes
Good luck,
sense.
Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck. Yeah.
Yeah, that does seem like an odd choice.
I mean, they're gonna have to really make him start eating protein shakes,
Right,
and stuff,
right. To
because
get on
he's
the
got
Henry
a
Cavill
huge-
diet.
Yeah. even
Henry,
then,
yeah.
still, you got to be bigger than that, because Black Adam is going to be played by The Rock,
Rock,
right?
yeah.
Right. But they're saying that Black Adam is not going to be the villain of the.
Yeah, I read that too.
Of the Shazam
it's
movie, so-
Doctor something. I don't
I'm
know.
not sure.
I don't
Yeah.
know his-
But they're going to
starts
use
with
The
an S.
Rock as a villain in a different thing, so I don't know. But I thought that was interesting. And then, though, we go and open on an interesting scene with Batman.
Is it?
Yeah.
So is the opening like super choppy? Like, is it trying to tie some things together to make a league?
No,
No.
I didn't think so.
Because like
Okay.
we
That
opened-
Superman thing comes before the Justice League logo.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
almost like a
And then we open with a scene of Batman, and Batman is so he catches a criminal on a rooftop, and the criminal's like, "What do you want?" He's hanging the criminal over the balcony, and he's like, "I want your fear." And like this criminal's just hanging over the side of a building, facing the street, just like peeing his pants. Not really, but he's scared. So then a parademon shoots up. I guess fear attracts parademons.
yeah.
and
They can
Batman's-
smell the fear.
Batman's trying to catch a parademon. So then Batman lets the criminal go, catches the parademon. The parademon explodes itself.
Self-destructs,
and-
yeah.
Yeah, and then the
And what happens to the criminal? Does he
So
splat on the
a
ground?
couple
No,
weird things
then-
about this.
Yeah.
Batman lets the criminal go. Just randomly, leaves and leaves the criminal on the roof. He also is talking to Alfred on his comlink, and he says Alfred's name in front of the criminal. So kind of like you just gave away.
And I was kind of confused if, for a minute there, I thought that the criminal was working with Batman.
I thought so too.
And I thought he was like a secret Hal Jordan or something because without his ring.
Yeah.
That's how Justice League started out.
Yeah, kind
you know?
of.
Yeah.
And because after he let him go or whatever, the criminal says something to the effect of, "Is this because he's gone? Is this because he's dead?" or something like that, implying, are these
Superman
pair of demons coming because Superman's dead? And then when Batman takes off, the criminal says, "Where does that leave us?" Did you guys catch
Yeah.
that? And it made me that's just what an odd thing to say.
I thought he was
Do you
like,
think it's
"Are
like
you
an
listening?"
undercover partner though?
Well, see,
like
that's
like
why-
a Robin or something?
Yes, and then
or
that
Jason
came to
Todd?
mind. Well, Jason Todd's dead, we think, because it's his Robin suit from Suicide Squad. And Harley Quinn killed him. It says in her little intro, I think, in Suicide Squad. But then I was saying, I did wonder, I was like, is this maybe a Robin, or is this maybe Hal Jordan without his ring, so he feels fear, and maybe Batman was using that to help, and then because the guy that plays that criminal is an actor that's been in several things. I can't think of his name right now, but I just thought that was just an odd. And then even when the parademon explodes, it leaves behind
The
3 boxes.
How come
Like
it-
it explodes and leaves a clue behind.
Yeah.
Really?
That's so
What?
stupid.
That's stupid. yeah.
Kind of backtracking to like the actual opening scene, we see like the world sucks. Like there's a hate crime going on. There's a homeless guy who has a sign that says like "I tried."
Yeah.
all set behind a
It's
really
sad.
cool song though. Everybody Knows by Secret.
Yeah, it was really pretty.
that
The
cover
that was
of-
a good song.
yeah.
I think all of that in the video, the camera video, would have been so much more impactful if the previous movie had like done better. Because this whole movie is like Superman's gone, the world sucks now. But like I feel like the previous movies never gave us that Superman to care about. So it was like, yeah, he's gone.
Well, they forced it at the end
Yeah.
of Batman Superman because then they're like, "Don't look for his monument. He's in
Right,
you,
right.
inspiring
Yeah.
hope," kind of thing.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I totally get that. It's
Yeah.
I love Henry Cavill as Superman. I'm just gonna say it right here. You can quote me. I love him. He just done a fantastic job. But I don't have that same hope feeling that I got from Christopher Reeves.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know, like they made you love and be inspired by him, and
Yeah.
I don't think they've given him that.
I think.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think part of that too is the direction that Cavill's been given.
Yeah.
because in Justice League, I feel like we finally got a good Superman.
It's yeah.
It's the
Oh, yeah.
Superman like
He's a lot more likable and
He's the hopeful, campy, like
Smiles.
Like it's
Oh,
just
good.
It is the Superman that we wanted. So I think like it wasn't the dour Superman that never talks. I mean,
Yeah.
he barely said anything in Man of Steel. You
Well,
know,
Man of Steel was good. I mean, a lot of people didn't like it. I
was
kind
good.
of understand that it was supposed to be the darker, trying to match the Christopher Nolan type.
right. They were
feel.
trying to.
Yeah.
But then Batman Superman was just too forced.
Yeah,
Like,
and they
it was
still went with
studio
the
too
darker
forced. Yeah,
thing
yeah.
on that, and I think they now have finally realized people don't want such dark
Yeah.
superheroes.
We get that
And it's not that
back.
they're copying Marvel, but it's just like
Yeah.
people aren't responding well to this dark and brooding thing. We need to lighten it up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well,
go ahead.
that like the thing about the Christopher Nolan movies too is like they weren't completely dark and brooding. I mean, there were humorous aspects of those movies,
And it's Batman. It's
albeit-
okay there.
Yeah.
right.
Albeit they were still
He's
dark
gritty by
humor,
nature.
but it was. I mean, like,
But they were trying to do a little bit besides just dark humor. They're trying to make it I shouldn't say too real, but they were trying to make it a realistic Batman.
Right,
You
right.
could see
Like
this person in your
in real
neighborhood.
life. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they were trying to really copy with Man of Steel, or at least
Right.
reflect,
If
so
Superman
they could
was
exist together.
really here,
Yes.
what would it
exactly.
be like? Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I thought that was good. I just thought we could have used some more of the like hopeful aspects
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
So
Wait, can I pause you again? Sorry,
Yeah.
since I'm the outsider here and haven't seen it. So I recall from Man of Steel at the very end. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't Man of Steel. It was
Superman?
Superman, Batman, Dawn of Justice. They get that deleted scene that you can see where Luthor is talking to what we assume was Steppenwolf.
Yep.
And he had 3 mother boxes in his hand
Yep.
in that scene.
Yep.
So does it require in this universe 3 mother boxes
Yeah.
to?
Yeah, there's 3 mother boxes.
Yeah,
that's the whole.
Well, I mean,
Oh
to move back and forth between actually access a boom tube, you
No,
have to have
no,
3.
no.
'cause
No, you don't have to
in
have all
my-
3 to access
in
the
DC,
boom tube.
In DC universe, it's 1 mother box per person.
Right.
Okay.
And if his whole thing is if he unites the 3 mother boxes, they become the unity, and it will actually fully
Okay, so
release the mother.
Yeah, so that's the setup for this plot. Is like
Sorry, I skipped ahead.
No, that's
I
okay.
mean,
that's
what
okay.
it's at. And for anybody that doesn't really know, because mother boxes are kind of confusing, and the best way to think of a mother box is to think of it as like a smartphone from Apocalypse that can do pretty much anything from heal you to whatever, and it's most commonly used to call down a boom tube to travel from dimension to dimension.
Yeah. And the setup for the plot is like way back in the day when Zeus was still alive. There were 3 mother boxes. Steppenwolf tried to attack our planet and turn it into like
Conquer
a new apocalypse or something. So the Atlanteans and the humans and the Amazons united together and defeated Steppenwolf. Each of those groups of people took one of the 3 mother boxes. The Atlanteans locked theirs in an underwater super secure safe.
Stronghold, yeah.
Yeah, the
Amazons.
the Amazons locked theirs in a super secure temple,
Stronghold.
and the humans buried theirs 2 feet underground. So
King Arthur, though, that was cool.
Yeah.
It was definitely King Arthur, I'm sure.
I
and-
just thought it was funny. They
Yeah.
buried it literally 2 feet underground.
Yeah.
Should we go 1 more foot? Nah, 2 got it.
And I hate to spoil this for you, but we see some Green Lanterns.
Yeah, we do.
I've read reviews.
The Green Lanterns completely take part in the flashback fight with Steppenwolf.
From what I understand, though, it's like a blackish figure. Like you don't actually see.
No, you see
You see him pretty
No,
good.
you see him.
Yeah.
It's
You see the
it's
face?
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
they're alien. They're very alien.
So long ago, though.
So we don't know if it's Abensur.
Yeah.
It's not Abensur,
No.
but it does look like the one that has 4 arms.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Salak.
Yeah, Salak. Yeah.
Yeah, so you see him die, and you see his ring fly
Fly
off
off
his finger.
and- yeah.
go
Salak
up.
dies.
Well, we don't know.
Well,
It looks like him,
okay,
but
Someone
yeah.
from that race, though.
Okay.
Yeah, he's at least from his planet.
Good point. Yeah.
So the next scene we have is Wonder Woman kind of scouting out the city, all geared up, when she hears a bank robbery.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, we don't have to, like, hard recap this movie. Or
That's okay. That, I gotta say, that was one of my favorite parts, because it obviously introduced Wonder Woman in Justice League, and she sees this. She's in London, because that's where she ended up from her movie, and she sees this bank robbery. He's going to blow up 4 square blocks of this bank and bring everybody back to the Dark Ages, and that's the only way to fix humanity. This terrorist group thinks or whatever. And awesome fight scene, of course, with Wonder Woman, blah blah blah. But we finally get the bullets and bracelets scene that I have waited.
Yeah.
I mean, that scene when she was crossing No Man's Land was cool, but she had her shield and all that.
Yeah.
This dude, when the bomb doesn't go off, she disarms it. And he takes a submachine gun or some automatic rifle and just unloads on this row of hostages. And she slides in on her knees and bam, 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 just deflects every one of these automatic bullets that go by this whole row of people. It was just so cool.
Yeah.
If I could rewound it and watch that scene over and over again, I would have been like, "Stop the movie, rewind that." But
Yeah, no,
Oh, it's so cool.
it was very cool to watch her.
So I had a question about the bank robbery. When the guy is like talking about the bomb, he's like, "This is the world's only hope." It kind of reminded me how Ra's al Ghul talked in like the Dark Knight. So I was wondering if that gang was like the
League of Shadows,
Yeah.
was that what they're called?
Yeah,
I-
League of Shadows, League of
Assassins?
Yeah.
depending
Right,
on where
yeah.
you're reading.
Yep.
just the way he was speaking kind of reminded me of how they thought. So,
Yeah, he was very gothic in the way he
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean that was a cool scene, I guess. What else do I have here? The bank robber at the start, though, as much as I like the logistics of that scene, it really meant very little to the overall plot. I felt like, I mean, like it was like Wonder Woman stopping.
It
the
was
bank
mostly
robber.
to, I think,
Show.
to give a
Introduce.
big action scene with Wonder Woman. I mean,
Which
Batman
I'm
had his
cool.
opening action scene with the Parademon, then we do Wonder Woman's, and
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I can see that. Okay, yeah, I'm cool with that. One thing I was kind of annoyed with, like, you can kind of see the difference between a male and a female director in this one, because there were lots of like lingering shots on Wonder Woman's rear end, and it was just like it was way too like.
there were a couple of her plain clothes that were like her civilian clothes that I wondered if they literally had to sew her into, because some of those pants were ridiculously tight. I mean, not that they weren't, because she's obviously in good shape and stuff, but it was like,
Yeah, and that girl, she's very gorgeous, but she's very flat-chested.
right.
And I read something that like they had to paint cleavage on her because she didn't have much to work with.
Yeah, I just feel like I don't know, man. I don't complain about that stuff really very much. It takes a lot for me to even bring it up, but it's like this movie. There was enough of it that it was like, wow, like really, like I don't
You see
know.
her butt cheeks a lot.
Yeah, man. Like,
she had one outfit when they were all talking, and it was like a V-cut sweater, and then there was some like bondage tank top strappy things underneath it. I don't know what. I was just like, that seems like an odd choice for an outfit for Wonder Woman to wear, but
Especially since she's so classy.
yeah, and some of it were good. I mean, some of like her white outfit when she's doing her museum work or whatever, but
I don't know, and like I think that's just Zack Snyder too, like or Zack. Yeah, I always mix those. Zack Snyder. Like I don't know, man. He wrote 300. Like yeah, I mean, there's lots of that stuff in that movie too, and that's just his director's eye. But it's just interesting to look at that compared to like a whole movie of Amazons where we never saw anything like that.
Right. Well, and that's another. The costume designer in Wonder Woman was a woman, and you can tell because when the Amazons go to battle, they're completely covered. And this movie, half of the Amazons were in metal bikinis with their entire tummies out. I mean, why not just take an arrow and stab yourself with it? It would save the bad guys a lot of time. But I will admit, there's these giant, muscled Amazon women with these huge sledgehammers guarding the temple door where they keep the mother box. And they're in bikinis, but they have 10-pack abs and biceps bigger than Superman, and when they took those sledgehammers at every single muscle, I was just like, okay, you can wear a bikini because that looks so cool.
See, that's where I was. It would have been completely different if they were all like skinny and big boob, but these women look freaking badass. Yeah. I was so pumped
But then
up.
like Philippus, who was like one of the main Amazons, and the other one is just walking around with her stomach out, and I was like, oh, I liked your costume better in Wonder Woman, but
yeah. I really like that game of hot potato they were playing with the mother box. That was cool.
The Themyscira, besides the bullets and bracelets scene, that Themyscira scene was by far my favorite.
Me too.
Yeah, so
they played keep away with the mother box from Steppenwolf.
So they're all guarding this mother box in this like pyramid, right? And like because it's suddenly become active
after 5,000 years.
So they're all like Amazons are standing around it holding arrows, and a boom tube comes in, and Steppenwolf comes in to take the mother box. So they like snatch the mother box away, and Wonder Woman's mom, Hippolyta, makes out of the pyramid, and they just shut the doors on him. And then there's this whole game of like he escapes from the pyramid, and he's chasing after them, and they're passing the mother box off.
Amazon after Amazon, like one Amazon wraps a rope around it and shoots it with an arrow so that it goes flying to the next one, and then they swoop off a horse and grab it, and he's like killing each one as they pass it on to the next one. It's just this really intense game of keep away with between Hippolyta and Steppenwolf with the mother box.
Doesn't Steppenwolf look like Prometheus? Like his face?
Yeah,
a little bit.
His height and stuff.
So before you go too much further, Steppenwolf. How's he look? He looked pretty cool?
I thought he looked... I mean, I thought the CGI was good.
I thought he kind of reminded me of like a bad guy off of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, honestly. Like, they had those prosthetic, like, practical effect bad guys, and I thought he was CGI, but I thought he looked like...
I liked that he had, like, a stone beard. He had, like, two stone beardy things kind of coming out. One of them was chipped off, and I thought that was like a cool touch, like he had been through some battle and stuff. Yeah. But he's interesting too because in the comic books, he's Darkseid's uncle.
Yeah,
and is responsible for the war between Apocalypse and the New Gods or whatever. And in this, he's Darkseid's nephew.
Oh, is
really?
He? Yeah, so I thought they should have not even brought up Darkseid because there was just one part where they brought him up and
he said, for
Darkseid.
For Darkseid. I guess I like that because to me it grounded it a little bit. Like was like, okay, at least they admitted Darkseid's existence. Yeah, like
I'm okay with them bringing it up, but at the same time, it's like people who don't know who Darkseid is are probably like, what did he mean there?
Yeah, I feel like most people know who Darkseid is over Steppenwolf. I took my nephew and he was like, is that Ares? And I was like, no, it's Steppenwolf.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, they haven't properly introduced Darkseid.
They haven't foreshadowed him,
So, I don't know. I just felt like if you're going to bring up Darkseid, at least explain, like, that's where Darkseid lives is Apocalypse, and that's where Steppenwolf's trying to get back to.
Right.
So we're running a little short on time here, so I'm going to keep going. But underwater scenes between Aquaman and Mera, what do we think of that?
Loved it.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't?
No. I was so upset.
Oh, no, why?
Because I thought it looked awful. Like, they looked like they were holding their breath. And then she made an air bubble for them to talk. They don't need an air bubble to talk.
Well, do they, though, or don't they? Because that was one of the things I was most wondering about is how are they going to talk underwater?
James Wan has promised that there will be no air bubbles in Aquaman.
Yeah, yeah. He came out and said like, "They're going to be talking underwater. Like, there's no air bubbles."
So they're just not going to talk underwater.
Yeah, no, they are going to talk underwater.
Oh,
yeah, or there's going to be some type of communication underwater in the Aquaman movie, but he said they're not going to cheat with air bubbles. Pretty much.
Okay.
My qualm with it was like,
you have to talk with your love.
the only thing so it's unprecedented to do a movie that's completely underwater,
right?
And if you just think about the CGI and how does that work to film that? You know, like how do you do that?
From what I read, they were on wires.
Yeah, they're on
wires.
And
they simulate.
And then they have to
underwater
add
movement.
water. Can you imagine how difficult that is?
Oh,
and it looked really choppy. But again, it's something that's never been done before.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I would assume you do it the same way that they did the original Iron Man, where they filmed you inside of like the what do they call it, the indoor parachuting
like diving
thing?
tank things.
No.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. That's where they did a lot of the movements from. They put them in a CGI outfit and then had them in the skydiving inside tank thing where you have the big propeller underneath and you
see that would be
float.
Cool.
So I would assume that's what you would kind of do in there.
Yeah.
Because the only thing you'd have to do is probably CGI the hair because you've got Aquaman with long hair.
Right, Mira's hair was, that all looked like they were actually in water.
Yeah.
But
it just looked, I don't know, man. It just looked like there were a lot of quick shots, and it was in the small amount that we got underwater, it was difficult to tell what was going on.
Compared to this lengthy scene on Themyscira, I was surprised that the battle for the Atlantean mother box was so short.
Yeah.
But
it's expensive too, I think.
Right. But Steppenwolf appears underwater in the thing, and Mera tries to fight him, and I thought, even though it was like short, it was just cool to see her like slap him around with the water. You know what I mean? And it's like whap whap whap, and she goes, but then of course he knocks her out. But
yeah.
So they really made a big deal about her leading up to this movie, Mera.
Mm-hmm.
But after the movie aired or first came out, I didn't see a whole lot about her. Did they cut a lot of her scenes?
She got one scene that was cut.
No, really. So she's not really in.
There was a total of 2 scenes. One got cut, and so she's in one scene.
Yeah, it's just a cameo.
But it sets up the Aquaman movie because it kind of establishes it. I got the impression it's the first time they met.
Yeah,
they're like,
well,
because she's like, oh,
yeah, maybe.
I think he left as a child.
Right, he left as a child. Yeah,
so they may have met as children.
And she was adopted by Queen Atlanta, who's going to be played by Nicole Kidman in the Aquaman movie.
Nice.
And
I loved her though.
Oh yeah, me too. I think that's great. I love
awesome.
Nicole Kidman. Yeah, and Alana's got like this blonde mermaidy hair, so I think she'd be a perfect, perfect one. But
and I liked Aquaman. I think that he isn't the Aquaman we know and love from the comics. He's not royal at all. Not short haired, not blonde, but I think
blondish. He's got the ombre.
Yeah. I think like to sell Aquaman to the masses, you have to give us this Aquaman, because if you give us the other one, he's just going to get made fun of. So it is what it is.
You and I, Ben, have been kind of like, oh, great, he's going to be a one-line Aquaman. And nobody's going to pay attention to him. Did it pan out that way, or was it better than what we expected?
I thought it was. I thought it was way better because he's
one
of the main warriors. He can fight along the lines of Wonder Woman, and so
Ben and I were afraid it was just going to be him on multiple shoots going, the Kool-Aid Man, you know?
Yeah, and he wasn't. I mean, there was this, like, for the most part, we got that, but there was this one scene where he acts like he was talking to the Justice League, and he starts talking about, like...
He starts baring his soul to everybody.
He starts, like, baring his soul, and you're like, this seems really out of character. It turns out
and then I start laughing, because I knew right away.
Yeah, he's sitting on the lasso of truth.
Oh.
And it was kind of funny.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know. I thought that was
funny. I felt he was fleshed out a lot more than just the type thing. But
good.
I remember I was talking about him saying just like a bat, I dig it. And then but I thought that was one of the funniest setups of the whole thing, because at the beginning, when Aquaman or Batman first tries to recruit him, they're like walking out of the Icelandic tavern or whatever, and he goes, and you do this, dressed like a bat. And Batman's like, yeah, it's worked for 20 years. And he's like, well, don't know what to tell you, Bat, I'm out of here, and takes off. And then when he actually meets him for the first time after, they battle Steppenwolf, and Aquaman finally decides to join the team, he sees him, and he's like, dressed like a bat. I dig it. And it just, I thought it was so funny.
I liked it. I thought it was funny.
But it needed that earlier thing where he says, and you do this dressed like a bat.
Yeah. The scene where they're talking at first, where he's like, "Can you do this dressed like a bat?"
Yeah.
He gives away Batman's identity, though. He says, "Dressed like a bat," and he says, "I don't know, Bruce. There's like 5 people standing. These people gave away their identities at least 3 or 4 times."
Okay, and let me one up you on this one because we haven't talked about this scene yet. Superman comes back from the dead. Shocker, shocker. And
whoa. Let me stop you there. How does that happen? It's a spoiler podcast, so you can tell me. I hope they explain it really well.
They do.
Well, it's very similar to what happened in the comics after he died in the whatever chamber in the Kryptonian ship.
Yeah.
They use that to do it. They the mother box.
Wait. They reuse the birthing matrix chamber from the movie.
Yep.
The Justice League does, yeah.
But it was fried because it got fried when Doomsday was born.
Yeah.
And they still have the human mother box because Cyborg has it. Cyborg's Star Labs has it. And but it's not responsive. So if the Flash can get enough of a charge and charge the mother box right when they drop it into the regeneration fluid, it'll activate the mother box with Clark in it. It will activate the mother box and theoretically give life back to Superman.
And it's Bruce's idea.
And it does.
Yeah, and it does. But then,
so how do you guys feel about that when they showed the last scene where they buried Clark
and the dirt
floats? Yeah.
Oh, I think that was just to make people be like, "Oh, he's gonna come back. He's gonna come back," which we all knew.
Okay.
But I gotta admit, they showed Flash and Cyborg digging up Superman's coffin. Really? And I just was really put off by that. I just thought that was so macabre and weird, and there was just something really weird about you knew that was what was going to have to happen, but did we need to see it?
Yeah, it was really weird, but I thought that was kind of a cool bonding moment for those.
Right, I know that's what they're using it as, but it was all under the
weird thing.
guise of, we bond while we desecrate a corpse. Yeah.
No, but we did get a nice bonding moment between them with the fist bump.
Right. Racially charged. But then when Superman does come back, he's not quite with it, and he fights the Justice Leaguers who try to calm him down, which I think was an important scene to show that Superman's more powerful than all of them combined. But Bruce's secret weapon is Lois Lane because he knows that if Superman can't get his mind right, that Lois will be the big guns or whatever, and she steps out of the police car. There's all kinds of police cars, and she's like, "Clark."
Yeah.
I mean,
she says Clark in front of all the cops.
Yeah.
Clark, please.
And plus, he's in his Clark outfit, flying in front of everybody.
Yeah.
So maybe his gig is up as far as the identity goes, and from now on out, it's not secret.
Clark is
but I was
Mixoplex.
It was just a little
my favorite scene in the movie, though, I think it was yours too, Ariel. So all the Justice League is fighting Superman, and they all have basically have their hands on him, standing in a circle around him, except for the Flash. And Superman's holding them all off, so the Flash takes this as an opportunity. He's going to save the day. So he takes off, and you see him running in slow motion, but he's running really fast. Mm-hmm. And everyone else is moving in slow motion. And then Superman, just in normal time, starts turning his head.
And his eyes.
And Barry's just like, oh, shit.
You see his eyes just get bigger and bigger and bigger when he's realizing, oh, my God, this guy can move as fast as I can.
Awesome.
And
that is perfect, because that's just like from the Justice League comic book where he's like, nobody's ever touched me, Superman, so you better not. And he spins around and just flicks Barry and just knocks him across the room. Yeah, that is awesome. That's perfect.
Yeah, no. Do you know about the post-credits?
Yeah, then there's 2 post-credits.
No.
I feel like we should leave that as a surprise.
No, go ahead. Spoil.
Well,
go ahead.
The first post-credit scene is an homage to The Fastest Man Alive.
Yeah.
You know that so infamous scene?
Yeah.
Who's faster, Superman or the Flash?
So they decide to race.
Really?
Yeah. And you don't actually see the race finish, but it's they joke around with each other, all right, if I win, you're out of the league, and it's just kind of this.
And Flash is and if I win, I get to tell everybody.
Yeah. So that was pretty great. And then the second post credit scene is
that's epic. I thought.
Epic. Yeah. It's Jesse Eisenberg has escaped from jail. He's on a boat.
Lex Luthor's escaped from jail, escaped from Arkham.
Yep. And you see
he's on a boat with all these women bodyguards with machine guns.
And you see Deathstroke come up on a boat.
Okay.
And Lex Luthor
Whoa,
is like...
we see Deathstroke, or we
Deathstroke.
see his actual face?
Full mask.
Both.
Both. Full mask at first, and then
So
Joe.
you see Joe.
You see Joe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you see him take his mask
Takes it
off.
off.
And
His last name's weird.
Manta Janella or something like that.
Thank you. I can't pronounce it, so just Joe.
Joe. Yep.
And
Joe M.
so Deathstroke takes his mask off, and Lex Luthor's like, so it seems like they've started kind of a league. Why don't we start a league of our own? And then cut to black. So yeah, that's
Nice.
yeah.
Yep. So it sets up the Legion of Doom. The Injustice League. A couple
That is
different.
awesome.
Yeah.
Finally, they're doing some post-credit scenes.
What I think would
that.
be potentially awesome because
So wait, I'm sorry. I'm going to back you up here for just a second because you're at the end of the movie now, right?
we skipped a little bit, but
So let's come back here. You've talked about everybody except for the two other main characters, which is Flash and Cyborg.
Yeah.
I want to know:
Yeah.
do we hear "Booyah" from Cyborg once? Okay.
Although
in a very subdued way,
Yeah,
I was let down by it.
it wasn't the like
Booyah!
Yeah.
He was
Okay.
what was his name? He was like Booyah.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So it was a head nod.
Head nod, yeah.
Okay.
A wink.
So and then a wink. There we go.
Yep.
More better. So then the other one is the Flash. I didn't care for the fact when they cast the character, he didn't have blonde hair or blonde-ish colored hair. It was black,
Yeah,
but I
right.
can overlook that. Did they make him a good Flash? Like, was the special effects for running good?
No.
I mean,
Oh.
no.
I thought it was just
Oh,
on par with Quicksilver and everybody else that moves
I did
fast.
I did not. No,
Because the way you described the Superman Flash interaction running around, that sounds kick ass.
No,
so
it
I'm kind of
was.
hoping.
Yeah. But and there was a scene where like they're fighting Steppenwolf
Yeah.
and like the catwalk falls and you see everything kind of in slow motion / frozen in time, and like Wonder Woman's reaching for her sword but it's just too far away, and Flash like sees what's going on and takes off running along the wall, and then just taps the sword and just goes back into Wonder Woman's hand, and then of course he trips on his own feet. He trips all the time in this.
And that was.
But
Is that supposed to be the?
He's supposed to be green, I think. Is the thing. Yeah.
The
maybe
lovable
that's-
teenager who can't. I mean, he's not a teenager, but you
Right,
know,
the younger member of the team. Yeah.
He runs like a chicken, though.
Yeah, he's got his arms very, very, very
Okay.
odd. Very.
And maybe that's because in this movie, he's not a crime scene investigator yet.
Yeah.
He becomes one at the very end of the
He
movie.
gets a
Like,
job. Yeah.
Oh.
He tells his dad, like, I just got a job. I can try and get you out of jail. And, like, but, like, then maybe that's why. I think the very best speedster running was done with X-Men Days of Future Past Quicksilver, where,
Right.
like, everything in the room freezes and he's walking at normal speed. I feel like that's how you should film a speedster.
I respectfully disagree with you.
What do
I
you
don't
think?
think that one was. I loved that one, but I liked the. Oh wait, I'm sorry. You said Days of Future Past, right?
Whatever Quicksilver and X-Men was in, where, like...
Well, he's in
everything
two
the-
of them, and
Yeah.
it's the one that
Yeah.
I like was when he busts
the
Magneto
kitchen?
out of jail in the kitchen.
Okay,
Yeah, in the
yeah,
kitchen.
yeah.
That's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
okay, I'm sorry. I thought
Yeah.
you were talking about the one where the Xavier mansion explodes and then he
Oh, he goes
through
and gets them all out.
I
Yeah,
know,
remember
which
that.
I
That
liked
was cool
it,
too,
yeah, but
Yeah, I
the
feel like
kitchen
that
scene was better.
Yeah.
I feel like with the speedster, you should show everything freeze and them moving at normal speed. I feel like we shouldn't see Flash moving in slow motion too. Like I feel,
Oh, yeah.
like I don't know personally, and I feel like they don't want to do that because they don't want to copy it. But that's just the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, like, it just felt... They tried to play this epic music anytime he would take off running, and, like, the first time I get it, the second time maybe, but, like, it's
Yeah.
like, from that point, just show him speeding around, you know? Like, show him, like,
A blur.
zoom gone,
Yeah.
zoom back, you know?
Cyborg for me was the biggest disappointment.
Oh my
Really?
He was just one. I thought his CGI was bad.
Yeah, I
didn't like his
armor.
from the neck down. I liked the head, but from the neck down, it just at the end there, like he upgraded his armor and it started to look more
He
like
put the C on
the
his
C
chest.
instead. It looked a
Yeah.
little bit more like we would expect, but I didn't like it up until that point. And two, he was just unpleasant.
The way he
And-
spoke, like he's a teenager.
Yeah.
Teenagers don't talk like
Yeah,
that.
and maybe I've seen too much Teen Titans Go or something like that, but
Father.
I wanted a little bit, yeah.
He's like, Father,
Oh,
you
you
made
thought-
me a monster.
Yeah.
Da,
Oh, you
da,
thought I
da,
was
da.
talking about me when I said
Oh,
monster.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Super
Bitch and moan, yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, but I did like
He came together at the end. Sorry,
I did like the banter with him and Flash and how it came together at the end, because like they had a moment where it was like they kind of bonded or whatever, and then at the very end you kind of get that again with them bonding. So
Yeah.
I think they have a good back and forth. I think Superman and Flash had the best back and forth, though, personally.
They were fun, yeah.
I really liked
Yeah.
Wonder Woman with Cyborg. Actually, she has like the mother quality. to her.
She's
Yeah.
very nurturing,
Yeah,
right?
nurturing.
Yeah, yeah, that was cool too.
Yeah.
So
Just to play devil's advocate, because I haven't seen it and I'm outside here, but from what you guys describe and how you're explaining the interactions of the characters, I can kind of see how you almost want Cyborg to be kind of deep and brooding and whatnot, because his future was taken away from him because of the mother box. Well, according to the comics, the explosion happened, and then he was a super football star and couldn't do it anymore. But he's almost going through an evolution process, not just with between man and machine, but also just mentally. He's evolving into from child to adult because he's so smart.
Yeah. He was talking
access to everything.
He was talking about that. He keeps waking up and his body can do new things.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've got a language going in my head that I don't speak. You know, and not just a computer language. He was getting, I think, apocalypse. Whatever language they speak in Apocalypse, or whatever language the mother box speaks. Yeah,
he was too calm about it, though.
yeah, I just
he just took it with just took it in stride a little bit. But.
And I feel like a lot of the characters that we got that we feel like we don't know that well, like these aren't the characters I know. Like this isn't the Flash I know. This isn't the Cyborg I know. That's because this is like their origin story.
Right, we're
we're getting their origin, and I feel like Disney did it so well with their movies because they gave us all the origins, and then once the team up movie came, we already knew all these people.
Right.
This we're like trying to cram these origin stories in, and you want to see like the Flash I know, and like, but those we aren't acclimated to those yet. So I feel like we are going to eventually get a good Flash, Aquaman, Cyborg. I just don't think that's exactly what we got in this movie, and I don't think the movie was worse off because of it. I think it was a pretty okay movie. I think it deserves a lot better reviews than what it's getting.
I thought it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was far from perfect, but like I loved it. I
had fun.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
It gave me hope for the future too.
Right.
Because they have great chemistry. All the characters do.
Yeah.
So I'm slave to what I read, so because I didn't see it yet. But I heard that it's projected to be 100 million short.
I've read 50 to 100 million short, but
so that doesn't bode well.
I've seen it twice.
From everybody I've talked to, and you know, all of them are comic book fans. So,
right.
Even just hearing it was a fun movie is enough to keep you going, or at least as a comic book person to go see it.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm not hearing this was an epic failure. This was not what I wanted. I don't go see it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So it's not a serious film, but it's a comic book movie.
Right.
It's not supposed
I
to be
don't
a
want it to.
serious
Yeah.
film. So
we do not
I
want another
fun.
Superman versus Batman.
Yeah. Although I did like the fight scene.
But we all picking up what I'm putting down there.
Yeah.
But
It's
no,
doing really well
the
in
thing
China.
that I heard that too, and then I heard that the fiasco where in India they rolled out a
movie.
poster that's
Oh, yeah.
not actually the
Oh,
real
really?
movie poster. Yeah, like has Green Arrow on it and something
Yeah.
else.
Funny.
Yeah, but I've read. And it sounds like it's true, but there's a lot of sexist tone as far as the movie shots for Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
You tell them the male, that sucks.
I mean,
I don't need to see Wonder Woman's bum. But I'll be honest, because I'm a guy. She's a good-looking lady, but I don't need to see it. Leave it out. I just show me her kicking ass, because obviously DC picked up on it and told the directors we need more Wonder Woman because Wonder Woman went through the roof.
Yeah.
Holy
Right.
shit, you know.
There was just this one scene where they were jumping out of the Batman's
Nightcrawler.
The Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
And they shot it from underneath the door, and you see Batman jump out, and then you see Wonder Woman jump out, and it's like an upskirt shot, and it's like
her opening scene when she had the guy. I mean, it was kind of upper skirt, but I mean, it's not like it was panties or anything. You know, I mean, she's got her warrior outfit on it. It's part of it, but it was
seems like-
definitely there were
Like, why did we even need that shot? Why couldn't you have
Right.
shot that from the front of
Yeah,
them
actually-
jumping out
But
of the
also
Nightcrawler?
to kind of play devil's advocate, Aquaman and Batman have some huge cod pieces.
Aquaman.
Yeah.
Aquaman especially. It was just like
Actually, I heard
it was like
something-
this I don't know, like this metal
Wait,
jockstrap
was
on.
that a joke? A cod piece? And
Oh right, yeah. There's a fish on his crotch.
That there was actually some, and we got to sign off here in like 5 minutes, but But there was actually some things I heard about Batman. So I guess like he wasn't quite as ripped in this movie as he was for Batman v Superman, which he was huge. He was huge. There was like a scene where Wonder Woman was helping him relocate his shoulder. He was supposed to have his shirt off in that scene, but I guess like they had the padded bat suit on instead.
Yeah, so you had to keep it on.
Yeah,
funny.
which is like, you know, that I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just funny to me. I never pictured Batman as being like that ridiculously huge anyway. I mean, he's
The Frank Miller
one, which is kind of what they based him off of. But
which is
I got
stupid.
something to add before we run out of our 5 minutes about the final credit scene that kind of teases the Legion of Doom or whatever. But 'cause we also have we also have Darkseid teased, and so I don't know. In my opinion, wouldn't it be super epic if Justice League 2 involved two villains, like initially like the Legion of Doom, but then Darkseid invades and the Legion of Doom and the Justice League have to work together to bring Darkseid down? Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, that would.
And we've already got a couple established villains, and at the very, very end, you know, they showed Wonder Woman being nice to the kids, and she was going to get out there and be a little bit more. But you know, she had some robbers tied up with her last when they were just spilling the truth about all these bank robbers they had done. But they had some super well dressed woman in a red suit and big red hat being, you know, led away in handcuffs next to him.
Yeah,
Did you guys notice?
Oh, I didn't.
That-
Was
I
that
wondered about
Veronica Cale?
Oh, that's, I guess, could have been a possibility. I was just sure it had to be Priscilla Rich, who would be the
that
cheetah,
is.
who was the first cheetah,
that's Cheetah?
the first cheetah.
That'd be cool.
Because she was a society woman that was jealous of Diana, and that became the cheetah. But wouldn't that be cool if she ended up being cheetah and part of the Legion of Doom?
Totally.
And then so that's my fantasy. So listen, make that happen.
So let's talk ratings just really quick. What do we think if we had to rate it on our rating scale? What would you rate it?
I want to give it a high, but holy.
Okay.
I loved it.
Holy.
Yeah. I'm at a holy 2. Travis hasn't seen it, but yeah, I'm at a holy 2.
I thought you guys were just going to come through with like high blessing.
I think if you are not a DC fan and you just like to watch these movies for fun, you're probably going to have fun and think it was a blessing. But if you're a DC fan, which if you're listening to this podcast, you probably are. So it's definitely a holy.
I'd recommend seeing it twice because the first time I was like, whoa, this is a bad movie. But the second time I was like, you know what? Who cares? It's really fun.
Honestly, like the first time I enjoyed it, there are parts in it that you will laugh at that they did not intend for you to laugh at.
Right.
Really?
Yeah, just 'cause, like the whole revealing identities left and right thing, like it's like, holy crap, man, you guys are not being very good with the secret identities.
There's this scene when Superman first comes back to like help save the day, and Bruce sees him, and he's like, Superman! Like his face like lights up.
It looks
with
like a
love.
10-year-old
Yeah,
boy.
just like that.
Yeah, it really does. Do you remember when they were fighting?
So it'll look like me.
So when they were fighting Steppenwolf at the end,
Right.
and Superman shows up,
Yeah.
and you just see Batman's face, and he looks like a 10-year-old boy on Christmas.
Right.
It's so funny.
It's ironic because in Batman versus Superman, Batman was like, if there's even a 1% chance that Superman could be bad, we can't have it. We have to get rid of
take
him.
him out.
And then in this one, he's like, if there's even a 1% chance that Superman could be good and help us, we have to bring him back to life. Like, oh, okay, make
This
up
is
your
really
mind there, Bruce.
creepy.
Yeah, way to calculate
When
those
Superman
odds.
was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
do you bleed? I
Yeah, that was
scared the
creep.
crap
Yeah.
out
Oh,
of me.
yeah. So Superman, they're trying to calm him down, and they all agree when they bring Superman back, like Batman, you shouldn't be there, like
Right.
because if he sees you, it's just not going to help.
But Arthur, he kept like freaking. He's like, he's not okay, man.
Yeah,
He's
so
not okay.
So like he takes down the Justice League, and Batman shows up. And Superman's like, at this point, still kind of crazy from coming back to. He's like, I know you, and he grabs Batman by his throat and like lifts him up in the air, and he's like, "Tell me, do you bleed?" And it's
But
just
way
like
he
the
does it,
funniest.
do you bleed?
Yeah, it was really like snarly. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Then like Lois shows up, and he just kind of like tosses Batman aside, except they're
Like a
like
rag doll.
30 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
And like when that scene's over, the last thing you see is a shot of Batman laying on the ground. He's like, something's definitely bleeding. It's just like the funniest. I don't know, like a lot of that
Good,
stuff
though.
is funny.
I'm
yeah.
glad
It
there's
is
a
right.
laugh.
And I like that they really humanized Batman because
Yeah.
he really would not be able to do all the things they do and not like get hurt or that, and to see him like kind of struggle a little bit to keep up with the real heroes. I was like, yeah, that's
Now I can't want to go see it again.
I like the fact that Batman.
What time is it?
Right.
Sorry, honey, the podcast went long.
I like the fact that Batman says like Superman was more human than I am.
that was a great
Yeah.
touch.
He worked a job. He had a wife. You know, like he was more of a human than me.
I do wonder how they're going to bring Clark Kent back to life. Like, is he
Yeah,
gonna back
how's
to
that
work
going
and-
And we do get
Right.
that.
They always, at least in the comics, they always explained it as Clark was out on assignment or
Yeah.
deep undercover. So,
Yeah.
But
I
they
mean-
went to his funeral.
Yeah, they went to Clark's thing.
Oh yeah, good point. I forgot.
We do get the very epic shot at the end of Superman
the
in a
classic.
suit and tie and raincoat walking out of an alley and pulling his shirt.
Really?
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, we get the classic Superman shot, and like there's even a like up in the sky bird thing.
Yeah, somebody says, look up in the sky. Oh, Lois is like
Yeah.
narrating the end
Yeah.
about she's writing a story. Finally, she's come back from writing fluff pieces and now is ready to be a real journalist again and
Yeah.
talk about these heroes. And
Yeah. All right, so that's all we got. I know we gave away a lot of this movie, but you know, we did disclaim that to you at the end. So thank you for listening. We'll try and come back. I'm telling everyone, like, if there's a comic that comes out that you think we should cover, just email me, hosts. If there's a comic that y'all think we should cover, just text me and let me know. But otherwise, we will see y'all definitely in February and hopefully before then. If you want to find us anywhere, we're on the internet at Nerd Church Radio, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. And I'm on Twitter at HeyBenzilla. Travis, where can we find you?
I'm on Twitter at TritonTR. It's TritonTR.
Ariel
I'm on Twitter at Ariel the Oracle.
and Noah.
And I'm mostly social media at Noah O'Toole.
Awesome. All right, and that's all we got for you guys this week. Peace be with you.
And also with you.
Be good to each other.
Peace out, planet Earth.